You've heard the opening on the amendment and on the proposed rule change. Those wishing to speak, Senator Har, Senator Chambers, Shoemaker, Hansen, and Keene. Senator Har, you are recognized.
Thank you. And I believe I have a proposed amendment to his amendment as well. So.
Stand by, please.
Okay.
Based upon our rules, we'll have to deal with this amendment before we can move to the next amendment.
Okay.
Senator Har.
I apologize. I now understand what the clerk said to me earlier. Thank you. Well, you heard it, folks. The problem is agencies don't comply. Agencies don't comply. Agencies don't make fiscal notes. Fiscal office makes fiscal notes. If they don't have the information, we got to find a way to make sure they have the information. And good news, hope is on the way. I have LB 530, look it up. You know what it says? It says we, the legislature, the appropriator of funds, get to hold on to how those funds are spent. So now we don't have to go to the agency. Problem solved, right? All we have to do is pass LB 530, problem solved. We no longer have to go to the agencies to find the numbers. And this amendment before you doesn't take effect till January 1, 2018. Problem solved. We can do it in 72 hours, if that is the problem. You know what you didn't hear Senator Stinner say? There was more work. He said we didn't understand the process. He didn't say there was any more work. Well, guess what, folks? We can fix the process. That's something administratively done. We can fix that. That is not an improbability. That is, well, based on the way we did things before, we can't move it from 24 to 48 to 72. We got to go to 48. And then, did you notice what else he said? I think I can support it. I think. Now you understand my frustration. I am negotiating against myself. If I were to concede 48, that's still not a guarantee that I'd get support, right? So 72 hours, it's a fair amount. It's no more, no less work than what they're doing today. And the problem isn't with us, it's with the agencies. And you know what, if the agencies, they don't get to make the fiscal note. The fiscal office makes the fiscal note. You're darn right, and I want to thank Chairman Hilgers for saying we understand the process. I can tell you I've been working on this for a long time. I have a lot of pent-up frustration if it has not come out yet, and I have looked for a solution. I don't just say, no, we can't do it, no, no. I look at the problem, I study the problem, and I try to find a way forward, and that's what I did here. I can't control the agencies, right? Nor can they. If the agencies don't get the numbers, guess what? Fiscal can make what they want. Agencies can give you a fiscal note that says your bill is going to cost $500 million. And fiscal can say, I disagree with that, and the fiscal note should be zero. And you know what the fiscal note is? Zero. So if the agencies want to have their say, they need to get their stuff in on time. The fact that they aren't paying attention to the rules doesn't mean we should sacrifice because they aren't following the rules that we set. If they want to have a say, which I think is nice that we give them a say, they better take advantage of that. And if they don't take advantage of that, that's not my fault. That's not the fiscal office's fault. That's on them. And they can come in, and they can explain why they didn't get in on time. Okay? 72 hours is a good, fair compromise. Would I like to see more? You bet I'd like to have a week before my bill to see what it cost. And with the other rule change we just did, you know what you're going to see is a lot of the more complicated bills are going to already have fiscal notes done. And there's going to be some analysis done in the interim.
1 minute.
So you're not going to have the problems you had before. We're going to take some of the pressure off them, right? We're going to pre-do a lot of their work. That was their concern, but it's also a good thing. 72 hours. It's fair. It gives us time to work. It gives us time to do what we need to do to pass good legislation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Har. Senator Stinner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the legislature, I just want to clear up the fact that this amendment does deal with 48 hours, and I do support it. Okay? I just want to make that abundantly clear. You know, I kind of walked through this process, but there's other things, and agencies do a lot of the work. The fiscal is an independent and an integral part of that. But there are other things that sometimes get in, like code agencies. Many times PRO grabs it and says, we want to take a look at it. Justifiably so, we want to take a look at it. That's another possibility that hits that timing. That's another frustration that fiscal has. Where's this at? I've got to hit this time limit. 48, we've worked through the numbers, we've worked through the flow of items. They're dealing with budget. They're dealing with senators coming down and asking questions relative to their fiscal notes that might be out there, reworking things. There's a lot of moving parts in this situation. And again, expand the staff. That's the answer. Well, we're going to spend some more money if that's what the legislature wants to do, but the timing of it is 3 to 5 years for somebody to get up to the speed so that we can hit the standards that we actually want to have and will accept. The amendment also deals with pushing that timeline that triggers the agencies from 7 to 10 days. That gives enough time for that agency to gather the information, get back to fiscal office, fiscal to take a look at it, to adjust it. 48 hours, you have the opportunity then to look at that fiscal note, go back to the fiscal analyst. Many times they have to get back to the agency just to see if we change this, if we do this. Okay, I'll go with 48 hours, period, because it works for the entire thing. Now, I understand that we're the center of the universe, but there's a lot of moving parts that have to support that center. This is one of them. And you have to be mindful that has to balance those dollars and time and efficiency and excellence. That all has to get balanced. We're imbalanced. I think they did a good faith effort in taking a look at the problem and taking a look at the proposal and looking at how we can move this forward and what we can live with in this fiscal office. That's why the amendment's up there. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Stinner. Senator Chambers, you're recognized.
Thank you. Mr. President, members of the legislature, I had stated earlier that I don't like hanging chads or loose ends. I had made the comment that Senator Kentner had lied again and mentioned the one that I was talking about at that time. But for me to say again, that means he had lied prior to that, and I want to document it. I'm so glad some of my colleagues are upset with what I'm saying. They're more upset with what I'm saying than what a gutter snipe did to shame the legislature. Can you feature that? I guess maybe they all got something like that in their closet. They think I know that and I'm gonna bring it out. Well, they haven't confessed to anything yet. There's nothing for me to bring out. Nothing gets the duck in trouble but his bill. This is Kentner Graham 29. Lincoln Journal-Star, August the 2nd. Headline, Kentner says he wants to respond but can't. Senator Bill Kentner posted on his Facebook page Monday afternoon a response to media inquiries for a comment on an investigation by the Nebraska Accountability and Disclosure Commission on his alleged use of his state computer last year to exchange sexually explicit videos with a woman. Quote, I welcome the opportunity to comment on this matter, but I have been advised that I'm not able to comment on any case before the Nebraska Accountability and Disclosure Commission. I look forward to commenting when the agency takes final action. That's a lie. He could say something. He had kept